My name is Jeffrey Woolf, and it's my honor and privilege to participate in this incredible undertaking. Lilu Nishmas Sarah Leam Drach, Sarah Rivka Bas Harav Nachum Umindel. I only really got to know Sarah once. I was scholar in residence in Stanford when when Mark was the rabbi there. And I think actually that was it was sufficient to be able to take in her remarkable personality. I remember standing in their kitchen when I first arrived in Stanford, and Mark and I were talking, and she sort of came in and said, "Hi, I'm Sarah Lambrach," and she was just filled the room with her light and energy and enthusiasm, and her untimely patira is a tremendous estalkos for those who are close to her and for those who are only privileged to come into her light once. And hopefully this will be these series of shurim will be a perpetual expression of love and affection and testimony to her ineffable personality and the mark that she left on so many people. Eerily, the Perek that I've been asked to discuss, Perek Memdalid, in Tillim, is not all that inappropriate, because it describes the inability of a fundamentally loyal and faithful and devoted Jewish people to come to terms with a feeling of abandonment, of Hester Panim, of God hiding his face from his people. The Perek starts, Lamnatseach Livnei Korach Maskil. This is for the conductor, for the descendants of Korach, Maskil. The word maskil is interesting. Most Meforshim seem to indicate, Radak thinks this way as others, that in fact the word maskil means that it is this kapitel contains information or contains ideas that are so axiomatic and so essential for Torah and so essential for Judaism that they need to be conveyed in a coin that can be understood by the average person. In the same sense, Radak and others note the similarity between the word maskil here and the pasuk in Nehemiah that the Leviim, at the famous reading of the Torah by Ezra at the beginning of the Second Commonwealth, that the Leviim read, this is Nehemiah Perek Ches, pasuk Ches, Vayikru b'Sefer b'Toras ha'Elokim meforash, that they read the Sefer Torah, God's Torah, explicitly, v'som seichel ve'avidu b'mikra, and they explained and they transferred and translated the words of the Torah, not necessarily linguistically, but in terms of its meaning, and conveyed that meaning to the people. In other words, they made it accessible to the entire congregation that was there assembled. And in fact, the institution of the Metorgamon, according to some, is actually traced back to this institution of this moment at the Watergate, at the Shar Hamayim, where the initial reading of the Torah took place. Like David Ezra says, "V'som seichel," they made it intelligible. Samu sichlam lahavin b'mikra, zos hasuma be'iyun halev ketam ve'etna et libi ladas chochma. They made a point of, first of all, understanding the Torah themselves and also conveying it. There used to be an expression that's attributed to Reb Chaim Brisker, as felt in Hasbara, as felt in Havana. If a person is not really able to explain Torah, he can't be called upon to if a person is not able to properly explain Torah, it means he doesn't really understand. If he understood, he'd be able to explain. And similarly, people who presume to represent Torah have to delve therein and to elicit its inner meaning in order to be able to communicate it. In any event, what is this major? What are these major principles that more than other kapitloch are ensconced or embedded into this kapitel? So the Perek is divided actually into two parts. The first few psukim describe the relationship of the psalmist and of his generation to the nisim v'neflos, to the wonders and miracles of the going out of Egypt. Says the Bala Mizmor, Elokim boznenu shamanu avosenu sipru lanu poel pa'alta b'yamehem b'mei kedem. We have heard, we have on good authority, our elders have told us, our forefathers have told us of the wonders of the Yetzias Mitzrayim, of Kibush Haaretz. We know, we didn't experience this ourselves. It's a remarkable thing to be said in the time of Bais Rishon, but we've heard the stories ourselves, but we've never experienced anything similar. You yourself, O Ribbon Shalom, you sent the Canaanites out, and you caused their defeat and allowed for the tribes to inherit the land that you promised Avram Avinu. It wasn't of course we obviously had arms, we had swords and all kinds of things, but it wasn't that. It wasn't really, that wasn't what won us the victory. What won us the victory was in fact the fact that you were with us and you fought for us. The same message that Zechariah reminds us of, that we read for the Haftarah of Pesach. Vayad vayomer elai leimor zed devar Hashem el Zerubbabel leimor lo b'chayav lo b'koach ki beruchi amar Hashem tzvakot. That ultimately all of the fancy weaponry that we might have is really of no value unless HaKadosh Baruch Hu is on our side and is there holding our hands and giving strength to our arms. And that's what the psalmist is saying, is that ultimately we know we conquered Eretz Yisrael. But by the same token, the reason we conquered it was because you wanted us. You were there with us. Atahu Malki Elkim Tzavei Yeshuat Yaakov. You are my king, O Lord. You command the salvation of Jacob. It is in your name and through you that we will turn aside your our enemies, and we will defeat all those who come upon us through you, in your name. I don't trust my bow, and my sword will not save me. It's all up to you, Ribbon Shalom. And Ribbon Shalom, the psalmist is begging, he's saying, Ribbon Shalom, we haven't forgotten you. We praise you every single day. We never forgot you, and that's why our present predicament, and it's really unclear exactly what the present predicament is. Some say that it's some local defeat that happened in the time of Bayis Rishon. Others say that the kapitel was written Baruch HaKodesh, foreseeing a time in which God would hide his face, and it would be totally inexplicable why our loyalty, despite our loyalty, we were forced to undergo things which were so travail-filled and so difficult. You abandoned us, and we are ashamed. When we go to battle, you're not with us. You've caused us to retreat before our enemies, and our enemies ended up striking us. And so on and so forth, just on and on and on. The psalmist says we've suffered so much and we've been loyal to you. It's a sentiment which comes up more than once in Tehillim. For example, you have the famous beginning of Tehillim Perek Kaf Bet Pasuk Bet Keli Lama Zaftani Rachok Mishuati Divrei Shagasi. Why have you abandoned us? We haven't abandoned you under any circumstances. There's one line that specifically rings out, at least for me, in terms of in my work. Im shachach in Pasuk Kaf Aleph, Im shachachnu Shem Elokeinu v'nifros kapenu le'elzar. Did we ever forget you? I mean, the Yetzer for Avodah Zarah has been gone for a very long time. We have not forgotten you. Halo Elokim yechkor zos ki hu yodea telemos lev. You can look into our hearts and know that we have not abandoned you. That you are the only one that we think of. You are the only one who's in our awareness. Ki alecha horagnu kol hayom nechshavnu ketzon tivcha. We, for your sake, we are killed every single day. Nechshav, we feel like sheep to the slaughter. This pasuk Ki alecha horagnu kol hayom pops up consistently throughout our liturgy. When you say in the long Tachanun on Wednesdays and Thursdays, Habeit Mishamai Murei Ki Ayinu Lag V'Kelos Lagoyim. We're a laughingstock among the nations because of the prices that we pay, price that we pay for remaining loyal to you. You find the Meiri on this pasuk puts it very starkly. The Meiri was a witness to the preliminary anti-Jewish outbreaks in the early parts of the 14th century. He went through the expulsion from France in 1306, and was very much aware of the very, very tragic history of his brethren in the north, in France and in Germany. And he says, and he writes as follows. Even when they tried to force us to convert to other religions, we would rather die than abandon you. There's another line that's from there. There's a line from one of the Chronicle of Rabbi Ephraim of Bonn, which is written at the end of the 12th century, describing one of the era of the Second or Third Crusade. He writes as follows: "Kalani miroshi, kalani mizrawi," quotes the Gemara. Vimka, that God should looking up to God and asking Him to look down at what we are doing and what we are going through, despite our ongoing and unbending loyalty to Him and to His Torah. He says, Shenimshalu Yisrael Yona, that Israel is compared to a dove, because the pasuk from Shir Shir, which of course is an expression of the love between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Israel. Ma hayona hazo kol ha'ofels k'shehei nishchatem mefarkasin. All the other birds, when they're slaughtered, they shake afterwards. Aval hayona eino kain. The dove is not like that. Ela posheta savara. It stretches out its throat. Kach ein adam nosei nafsho l'kadosh baruch hu eli Yisrael bilvad. The same way that the dove puts itself ready to pay the ultimate price, to give up its life, so it is that only Israel is willing to pay that price for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shene'amar, and he quotes our pasuk, Ki alecha horagnu kol hayom, because we will only pay that price for you. It's a very sad kapitel. It's a very plaintive kapitel, but it has tremendous faith and tremendous strength in it, because the conclusion of the chapter is not, you're not here, so Job's wife says, curse God and die, but rather, even though we're now down in the dust, we still pray to you. We still say, rise up and help us, Redeem us for the sake of your grace, because of the fact that we will never, under any circumstances, no matter how tough the going gets, no matter how difficult the road, no matter what we are forced to go through, we ultimately believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is our God. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will in fact look down and save us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we accept God's judgment, as difficult as it is, as far as that is for us to understand. Because at the end of the day, it is emunah and its reliance on its bitachon that is the key to our life, the life of our souls, and the life of our children. And may that message be one not only of inspiration, but also of consolation.